In case you missed it, today is YNW Melly's bail hearing. His legal team believes that their release package is strong enough to secure the rapper's release, presenting two different legal angles in support of their case. The hearing also sheds light on Melly's life behind bars. According to his mother, who spoke in a recent interview, they have evidence showing that he is not being treated humanely in jail, a violation of inmates' rights, as jails are legally required to ensure the safety and humane treatment of those in their custody.
You saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
Next, Melly's legal team is expected to present evidence from the original trial to challenge the federal claim that the crime took place inside a Jeep. They reportedly have GPS data from Melly's cell phone provider showing that he was actually seen sprinting down a nearby street and hiding in a bush at the time of the incident. This new evidence directly contradicts the prosecution's version of events.
He's saying that someone just shut the car up and was trying to shoot them. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, and I'm hiding. He was like, there's some, there's some, I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Zach and Juby? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're...
To further support their claim that this was a drive-by shooting, Melly's lawyers plan to revisit key evidence from the original trial. They will highlight the fact that no firearm was ever recovered from the scene, which strengthens the argument that the shooter fled with the weapon, consistent with how a typical drive-by is carried out.
Well, the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what to use.
Okay.
However, the prosecutors are expected to push back with evidence of their own, arguing why Melly should remain in jail. One of their key points will likely be a text message found on Melly's cell phone, allegedly sent just hours after the crime, in which he wrote, "I did that." This could be used to suggest a confession, adding weight to their case. Now the question remains, which side truly has the stronger evidence?
And Vino asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
Also found on Melly's phone was a saved video from someone's Facebook Live, showing both Melly and Bortland just 6 hours after the crime took place. In the video, they appear to be dancing in a parking lot, which prosecutors may argue shows a lack of remorse or suspicious behavior so soon after the incident.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! But still turned. Regardless of what happened, you heard?
The video also showed no signs of grief or sadness over the loss of their two closest friends, which prosecutors may use to question their emotional response. But perhaps the most surprising development came from a rogue member of the YNW collective. This individual claimed that Melly's motive for the crime was rooted in financial disputes, alleging that Melly didn't want to continue sharing money with the other YNW members.
That Melly told him that he was two friends.
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, if when people can say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vern was mad at me, bro. Why you put that, bro? Walk up him. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that it's two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then
This
why
motive
he still
was
around?
reportedly meant to stay a secret, something Melly had only shared with the late King Vaughn. Unfortunately, Vaughn is said to have revealed it to members of the Oblak group before his passing. As background, YNW is a registered LLC, and Melly, along with Bortlen, performed at concerts, sold merchandise, and handled promotions, all generating income. However, Sack Chaser and Juvie allegedly wanted a share of the profits, despite not contributing to the work. But perhaps the most alarming twist is that the prosecutors don't seem particularly concerned about whether Melly is granted bond before trial. That's because they've already set a legal trap that could be devastating. They've filed paperwork to have Melly and Bortlen tried together in the next trial, and they did it for one very specific strategic reason.
Here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together, just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. We're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if...
It's common sense. If YNW Bortlen knows he didn't commit this serious crime, he likely won't be able to sit quietly and accept a life sentence. That pressure makes it highly possible he could end up turning on Melly if things get tough. But here's what many people don't know. During the original trial, Melly's own defense team had already started shifting blame toward Bortlen, subtly suggesting he may have been the one responsible.
For his lives. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car, two bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having the phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone.
That revelation came straight from Melly's own legal team, who argued that it was Bortlen who had been lying to federal investigators all along. They pointed out that Bortlen, not Melly, had gunpowder residue on his hands and was with Juvie and Sack Chaser at the time of their deaths. To strengthen their case, Melly's lawyers even brought in a forensic scientist to testify in detail about the presence of gunpowder residue on Bortlen, aiming to shift the focus entirely onto him.
So the right hand of courtroom Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of pot residue and two component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of pot residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was pot residue present on the hands.
Rumors are swirling that YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen haven't spoken since the trial drama began. Sources say Bortlen didn't take it well when Melly's defense team pointed the finger at him in court. And on the very same day Melly's mistrial was declared, Bortlen posted a cryptic tweet, "Mind games don't work on people like me," followed by a handshake emoji. Many believe this was a subtle message, possibly signaling that he was told to stay quiet, perhaps in exchange for a deal, until Melly's legal fate is sealed. But Bortlen isn't the only person the prosecution is counting on. Enter Mariah Hamilton, Melly's ex-girlfriend, who was recently arrested for skipping his first trial by fleeing the country. Mariah, who had no prior criminal record, was arrested by U.S. Border Patrol at Miami International Airport as she returned on an international flight. According to court records, she had been ordered to testify in Melly's 2023 trial. After being taken to Broward County Jail, She was released within minutes of signing a cooperation deal with the prosecution. She even posted shortly after her release. "Thank you to my village. I love you all so much. God's plan, not mine." Why the quick release? Because she agreed to testify against Melly. And things only get worse from here. Disturbing evidence was found in Mariah's iCloud account, allegedly showing that Melly pressured her not to testify in his first trial, an act that falls under witness tampering, which in Florida carries the possibility of life in prison, whether or not he's convicted of the original double homicide. As a result, 6 new charges have been filed against Melly, real name Jamel Demons, Bortlin, Cortland Henry, and 2 others. These charges include tampering with a witness directing the activities of a criminal organization, solicitation or conspiracy to tamper unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Some of these charges carry life sentences on their own if Melly is convicted, even if he's ultimately found not guilty in the original murder case. But how did the feds even discover this? It started with local chatter in Melly's hometown. People began talking on Facebook about Mariah's potential role in the cover-up. Things escalated when YNW Juvie's father joined the effort, conducting his own investigation, asking around, and digging into how Melly may have communicated with Mariah using coded messages. He reportedly uncovered that Melly used names like Rihanna and Rocky's baby mom to hide instructions meant for Mariah and her mother. According to investigators, Melly, barred from using the jail phone, allegedly passed notes to other inmates, who would then call someone on the outside, creating a chain of communication meant to convince Mariah not to testify. As a result of this extensive witness tampering, Melly has not been allowed to use a phone for several months. His mother, Jamie King, even went public in an interview, accusing the Broward County Jail of violating her son's rights. "My son has not been convicted of anything. Even other convicted inmates have the right to use the telephone and receive mail. They're holding his mail. They won't give it to him." While her frustration is understandable, if the authorities truly do have solid evidence of Melly using the jail system to tamper with witnesses, it would justify these extreme restrictions, and any challenge to them would likely fail. So now, the big question remains. Is this evidence enough to keep YNW Melly behind bars for life? Or could his legal team still pull off a miracle?